Hello and welcome to episode 272 of Drink the Movies. I'm Brian here, as always, with Michaela. And this week's episode should come with some sort of a disclaimer because this podcast is a true story. The events depicted in this podcast took place in a film that took place in Minnesota in 1987. At the request of the survivors, the names have been changed. Out of respect for the dead, this podcast is being presented exactly as it occurred. You've been warned, don't you know?
Don't you know? Yeah. Hmm. And if that wasn't enough, we're covering if you're not aware, that is how one of the cornerstones of the Coen Brothers smorgasbord of amazing movies is Fargo, and that is what we're going to be talking
Margo.
about. It spawned a series. Um, it changed. I don't know. It Frances McDormand, William H. Macy. Man,
All
lots
the
of
things. People from Minnesota.
people from Minnesota.
Very, very strong Minnesotan accents. I feel like this probably perpetuated that accent to a great degree. But we're going to be talking about that probably. I don't know. We're definitely going to be talking about a wood chipper. We're definitely going to make up a drink. So let's do this, Michaela. Yeah, Fargo, 30th birthday. So we're of course going to be talking about this one. It's very cold, which is good
Can
because
you
it's very high
believe
here.
it's
So it,
30
it
years
makes
old though?
I can. Yeah, I mean Fargo came out a long time ago. I was even like too young to see it when it came out. I know you weren't, but let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back to mix up this week's drink.
So Brian, as I am going through my kitchen trying to figure out what I could possibly do that would pay homage to Fargo, I am reminded of the very one of the first times that I had a movie spoiled for me, and it was with Fargo. Um,
Okay.
and so I'm gonna say normally we do a spoiler warning after, but spoiler warning for anybody who's not seen this film, I'm about to spoil a really cool piece of it for you.
About
So
to spoil
if
it.
if you
I
have
mean, it's
not
like three
seen this,
quarters of the way spoiled on the movie poster on a side note.
no, that's true. Anyway, okay, so this I wanted something that was going to be like super snowy, super like cold, and something that was going to be like super grotesque because there is a scene that is
Mm.
just you don't even. The first time I saw it, even though I knew what I was looking at, I was like, "What am I looking at?" It didn't look real. It was like like your brain understands what you're looking at, but it can't wrap it around like the reality of it. It was great. And hence we're gonna make a drink called the wood chipper.
The wood chipper, yeah, absolutely.
What's
We're going to be mixing that up today. This is our second Coen Brothers film, and this will be our second White Russian kind of. So maybe that's the theme. Maybe every time we do a Coen Brothers, maybe it'll just be a riff on the White Russian. There, obviously, we did one for Big Lebowski, and this one's coming in hot. Just like the wood chipper there at the end of the movie. So let's go ahead and put one of these together. I'm going to go real simple with this. Go ahead and grab yourself a rocks glass, add some ice to it, and then to that, go ahead and add 2 ounces of vodka, whatever vodka you want. Nothing too high end, nothing too cheap, but something right in that sweet spot right there. 2 ounces of that, 1 ounce of white or clear creme de cacao, and 1 ounce of. You can either use heavy cream, you can use half and half. Either one of those. Don't use powdered coffee mate like the dude, don't do that. 1 ounce of cream or half and half. Then go ahead and give that a stir, right? Make sure it's all mixed up. And then what I like to do, we're adding a quarter of an ounce of grenadine to this. Of course we are, because that is named after Fargo, again, right there on the tin. So go ahead and take a quarter of an ounce of grenadine. We're going to put that in. I like to do mine like to measure it out into either like a shot glass or into like a jigger or something like that. So you can kind of pour it in all at one fell swoop instead of, just kind of like dribbling it in. Just so it kind of plunges in there and takes over the whole drink. Just like the whole freaking like cascade of bloody snow out in Fargo.
yeah, the cascade of bloody snow. Yeah, yeah. So what did you think about this? Because I know that it's not as uh mature as it's not as complicated as drinks that we are known to try and do here at Drink the Movies, but I did think that its simplicity was also kind of beautiful. You get that really
Mm-hmm.
lovely stark like white and red, which you see in a couple of scenes, very memorably with a wood chipper. And
There's
I
only
don't
three
know, I
colors
thought
of the
this
whole
was
movie. So
white,
white,
red,
brown, and red.
and brown. The
That's
artistic
it.
director.
I
Yes.
I feel like if you're out in the snowdrifts of northern Minnesota, you could probably identify with those three colors, I would guess. No, I thought that this was fine. Like it's pretty basic White Russian, which isn't a drink that I love really. Like they're fine. They taste good, but I'm never going to be like in the mood for a White Russian, I don't think necessarily. It's not like one of
Oh,
those like
really?
flavors that come to mind. Yeah, like even in like cold weather, but I mean it's good. Like it's good for a White Russian. It's just
Hmm.
like I said, it's not. I'm just not going to be like, oh man, I feel like having a White Russian tonight. So it's good to that end. The grenadine doesn't really do anything flavor wise for it. So I mean, really, it's just a little bit of the creme de cacao, and then your
Hmm.
cream there. So it's pretty good, like you said, and it's pretty simple. These are ingredients that you have on hand, especially if you do either a lot of cooking or a lot of just cream or half and half into your coffee. You probably have like these ingredients. You can make yourself up one of these anytime you want, which is good because it's hard to get to the store when there's 19 feet of snow on the ground. So.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know how they do it up north. Uh, I'm I lived in Texas for 30 years and then I moved to like the heart of the South and we get like half an inch of anything that even remotely looks like it could possibly turn into snow and the entire city's shut down.
That's true.
But it doesn't stop the entire north part of the United States. They're like 18 feet of snow, no problem.
No
I'm
problem.
gonna be 9 months pregnant and I'm gonna go and try and track down a murderer in the middle of a
Well,
snowstorm. That sounds great. That sounds like something that we should do. Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do. So yeah, so go ahead and mix up a wood chipper. Let us know if you have any other good Fargo cocktails. I feel like Fargo probably has a lot of themed cocktails around it. If you're going to movie like anniversary releases at your small local independent theater chain there. So let us know if you have anything good. But for now, let's go ahead and like I said, let's fire up the wood chipper and let's get busy because we got a lot to talk about here in today's episode. Fargo.
Once upon a time,
Looks like she's gonna turn cold tomorrow. Yeah, you got that right.
there was a salesman called Jerry Lundergaard
Okay, real good then.
who always dreamt of striking it rich.
Weed, have you had a chance to think about that deal I was talking about, those 40 acres there in Wayzata?
Jerry, we're not going to just give you $750,000.
No, but see, So, we all set on this thing then? You want your own wife kidnapped?
Spoiler warning for Fargo. If you've not yet seen Fargo, we're going to talk about it. And I think I've already done a preemptive spoiler, but we're going to talk about all the things in Fargo. And there's some really, I don't know if it's like going to spoil it. There's not a lot of like twists and turns, but there are a couple of scenes that are surprising. And we're going to talk about them. So if you want to be surprised, you should press pause right now. Go mix yourself up a wood chipper cocktail. Go watch the hour and 38 minutes that is the brilliance of Minnesota in the snow. And come back and we can chat about all things Fargo. Happy birthday. It's 30 years old.
Happy birthday. It's 30 years old, which by my math means that it came out in 1996. This was directed by Joel Coen and written by Joel and Ethan Coen, so it's a Coen Brothers film there. This film stars William H. Macy as the man with a parking lot dream and a terrible idea on how to extort some money, Jerry Lundegaard. The two henchmen hired to carry out the extortion plot, Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare, are Carl and Gayer, I think. The police chief that will unravel the case, Marge Gunderson, played by the one, the only Frances McDormand. Speaking of Frances McDormand, she won an Oscar for this. This was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, which is a lot. And it won 2. Best Original Screenplay for the Coen Brothers and Best Actress for Frances McDormand.
Best actress for Frances McDormand. And I think, well, we're going to get into it, but do you remember that when this film came out? Because
I
there was
don't
quite a
because I was
stir.
14.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I
Well,
do, I guess, that it came out, and I think I remember hearing about it and things like that. But yeah, being 14, I was too young for Fargo. I was young and impressionable. So
yeah, young and impressionable. Well, I didn't watch this in the theater either. You'll be surprised to know.
I am a
For some
little, to be
reason,
honest.
this just didn't. Yeah, you should be really surprised because I mean, I was watching plenty of other stuff that was way worse, but this just didn't. This didn't hit me at 14 that this was going to be something that I was going to really enjoy. It wasn't until I heard about this famous wood chipper scene where I was like, all right, I guess I got to watch it now, you know. And then Frances McDormand won, and it was up for Best Picture. So even then, little Michaela loved catching up on all the Oscar nominated stuff. So I ended up watching it when it came out on video.
Mhm.
And I gotta say, that was the right choice. Watching it on video, I don't know if I could have contained some of my shock and awe in some of the things that you see Yeah, in a theater. I probably would have like screamed or something. I don't know. Maybe not screamed, but just been like, "Whoa, what am I looking at?" You know. Um,
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
but we open on this really stark. Um, the credits start rolling and it's super stark. It's all white, and then you realize that it's actually not all white. It's just a snowy scene, but it looks almost completely and totally white, which I think is really interesting. You talked about the three colors that we have. I just the art direction of this film is
Mhm.
pretty impressive to me because
Yeah.
it
Yeah, the art direction is very intentional, which is good. Like I said, there are like the three primary colors. White. It starts off with white, and then it adds in browns because everyone is either clothed in brown. Like this is 1987 in Minnesota, so everything is like wood paneled. All of the vehicles are all brown. So you have brown, and then the red, which kind of comes in later, is this crime caper goes awry like at every turn, left, right, and center. This was nominated for the best cinematography. Roger Deakins nominated here for the Academy Award for best cinematography, and yeah, that's fair because I mean it does make you definitely get a sense of the place of Minnesota, where we're at. I don't know. As far as like set design and stuff, I'm not sure if that was like an Oscar thing back then or not. But yeah, there's a lot of attention to detail to recreating this, like I said, because we're spending a lot of times or a lot of time in like the car dealership that William H. Macy's character is working at. We're spending a lot of time there. We're spending a lot of time at the house, and we're spending a lot of time in like bars, I guess. And you definitely get a sense of like that probably is what it feels like to be in Minnesota, never having been to Minnesota myself. Let's talk about the movie a little bit here. There are this is a crime drama kind of thing. It's kind of this dark comedy kind of a thing. So there are a lot of moving pieces. We'll do our best to keep these straight. So let's go ahead and kind of lay out what the crime is going to be, and then I think we can kind of just kind of like piggyback off of that. I think that's going to be the best way to talk about this. So we've got Jerome Jerry Lundegaard, played by William H. Macy there, and he's got a couple of things in mind. He it seems like he's always under like the thumb of his very wealthy father-in-law, which is not great. He wants to get out from under his thumb. He wants to strike it out on his own. He has like this idea that he can buy this land and build a parking lot there, but he needs some cash influx to make that happen. He's in debt. All this stuff is bad. So he comes up with this terrible idea with like his coworker or something. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to kidnap my wife. And then I will give you guys half of the ransom. I'll keep the other ransom. I'll be out of debt. I'll be debt free. I can go forward. So what he does, he goes to this bar and he meets Gary and Carl, right? Played by the one, the only Steve Buscemi, who's amazing, and Peter Stormare playing Gary there. He goes in. They have this very like combative thing, which might tip you off that this is a bad idea. This is a terrible idea. But the plan is rolling out. Don't tell henchmen to do something if you don't really want them to do it.
yeah, it's a bad thing. What they're doing is very bad, and I have to
It's very
say
bad.
it's very bad. But it's bad on multiple levels, right? And this was probably um my first foray into like black comedy or really dark comedy, because what they're
Mhm.
talking about is actually pretty terrible, right?
Yeah.
But this opening scene where they're talking and they're kind of having this banter back and forth, it's hilarious, but it doesn't seem real. You've got William H. Macy's character as Jerry Lundegaard. He sounds like the nicest guy you've ever met, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
true Minnesota, which we think of as like this soup, like do they call it Midwestern nice? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Where it's just like you're so nice, but he's like, oh, I'm gonna kidnap my wife. It's gonna be fine. I don't want to have to talk to you about what I'm gonna use the money for. No. And he is so good in this. And apparently, there was a lot of casting choices that they were looking at. And
Mhm.
this was one time, I guess the story is William H. Macy called the Coen brothers up after auditioning and was like, look, you guys are going to screw this up if you put anyone else other than me in this. I can do this role. It's meant to be mine. Which is, I mean, William H. Macy is amazing now, but back then, I don't think he had that political force that maybe he has today. And so
Yeah.
he was like, I don't know why I had the gumption to do that, but it all worked out because I can't imagine anybody being like both like stupid and like diabolical, like sociopathic, and also sound like just the nicest person, like your neighbor that you borrow a lawnmower from. Like it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, he does a really good job. Um,
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because William H. Macy, I mean, had started acting in 1980. Frances McDormand had already been nominated for an Academy Award. Steve Buscemi had been acting for a long time, I think, at the time that this came out. But it certainly seemed to like I don't want to say elevate it because they were all already very excellent at what they were doing. But it seemed like it just shone more of a spotlight on how good these people were and probably presented
mm,
it to a broader audience, probably.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So I guess let's get into it because so Jerry's met with these two henchmen, one of which it doesn't say a lot. And I love Peter Stormare. He's in a lot of Coen Brothers films. He's amazing. I remember him in a very different film where he just believed in nothing. And so I really loved this character because between the two of them, Carl and Gar. Um, Carl is kind of an idiot, and Gar has like no compunction about ending life. And so
Mhm.
they get real close, right? So they do this kidnapping. They go and kidnap the wife. And Gare, I mean, he just would have killed her. And
Well, you think that she
Carl is like,
dies.
wait a minute,
So
wait a minute.
because they go in,
It's
the kidnapping goes bad, right? They think that she like
it
snuck
goes
out, and
terribly
then
bad.
and like Garrett realizes she's like hid in the shower, and she runs out, and the shower curtain gets like tangled up, and she falls like down the stairs, and she's like completely like limp and lifeless at the bottom of the stairs. I'm like, oh, she already died. That's not great.
Whoops.
So this isn't going well already, but it turns out she's fine. But yeah, they're completely like different. Like you get the feeling that on one hand you have Carl who's there, he's talking all the time. You have Gare who's very quiet, and you feel like Carl will probably do kind of what he needs to do, but he's really just in this to like pull off this kidnapping and make the money. Gare, on the other hand, is like, I don't really care what happens because I'm like a freaking wild card over here. And I like they're driving to Minneapolis, where I guess this is kind of where this is going to take place, or St. Paul, wherever they're going. I don't remember the Twin Cities. So they don't really specify which one it is, but so they're driving, and of course, Gare's not saying anything. Carl is talking like a mile a minute, can't shut up, and he's like, "Oh, you want to just be quiet? That's fine. I can be quiet." And then he's only quiet for about a half a second because he can't help himself from talking. And I think Gare's kind of like, "What? I'm like roped in with this idiot. I'm gonna need to just go ahead and do things my way if I want for this to come off."
And his way is tough, you know. Oof.
His
So
way is tough.
they get into a bit of a pickle. As I think they would say, a bit of a pickle there. They're driving down the road. They have kidnapped this poor woman in the back who I loved this character. She is completely clueless. She loves her dad. Her dad's completely overbearing. Her son is kind of a punk. Until he figures out then until he finds out that his mom is missing, and then he's like a mushy character, which makes me so sad. He does a really good
Mhm.
job. But she is like uh she's tied up in the back, she's whimpering, she's making a little bit of noise, and they get stopped by the cops because even in the snow, even in 18 feet of snow, that police officer was able to tell that the tags were not on the car. And so he stops them, and he's just going to ask them to put the tags on or something. And Carl is an idiot and decides to try and bribe this guy. It does it really poorly. Um, and Greer just doesn't, he has no compunction. He just ends up shooting this guy in the face. And that is when like it goes from really bad decisions to like absolute train wreck because as they're trying to like cover this up, this car of kids drives by. And so Gare just goes and runs him down and kills him. And so, you know, yeah, it's just from bad to worse. So that the at this point, like they've kidnapped people, they've murdered three people. Um, they have no and they're on the run. And that is when Carl is like, I got a great idea. Let's go to a bar and get laid. Let's do that.
Going to a bar and get
It'll
like
be fine.
he he did promise it to Gare that that's what they're going to do when they got into town. So I guess that is what happens. And these girls are going to provide the most terrible lead of all time, but it's going to come to fruition. I wanted to make mention here because obviously we have the reason that this plan gets set in motion is because Jerry wants to get out of debt, and he has like this grand plan to buy this piece of land or this vacant lot or something and turn it into a parking lot. So he presents that to his father-in-law, Wade Gustafson, played by Harvey Presnell, there, and I like that because it really like completely emasculates like Jerry like on multiple levels here as he's trying to like go and present this to him. So he goes and he's like, "Hey, Pop, do you want to give me a loan so I can buy this thing? That'll be good for your daughter and myself." And Wade's like not interested at all. He's like, I guess we could probably give him like finder's fee for this. And like Wade like barely even like talks directly to Jerry. Like he talks to like the like accountant guy that's there, and then the accountant guy like like echoes those sentiments down to Jerry, who's like, basically like two levels removed from even talking to his own father-in-law here in haps of this. It's like you said, it's going from bad to worse. Jerry's thinks that he's going to get this money, which he doesn't end up get. He tries to call off the kidnapping, but it's too late now, right? The kidnapping's already happened. These murders have already happened, and that's going to bring in our Oscar winner. Frances McDormand as Marge Gunderson, laying in bed, getting a late night phone call. Well, on one hand, she's probably like the I think she's like the police chief or something
Mhm.
on like a police force of probably like three people. So A, she probably gets a lot of late night calls, but B, there's probably also never any calls because nothing probably ever happens in this place.
Yeah. She's super calm. And I think one of the things that strikes me about her character, Margie, is her calmness and her way of like it's super understated. And in acting, I think I always found it really hard to not overstate something, right? And then you end up overacting and you lose the magic because you're trying so hard, right? Margie's character is so like it's so subtle. Um, she's so subtle in the way she interacts with some of these characters, and even when she is shocked by what she's seeing, she's still really calm. And she's like 7 months pregnant now. I don't know. I don't I don't know what I guess from a story perspective, it just as a woman, it heightens everything that Margie does because she's in Minnesota and there's ice everywhere, and I am freaking out as she's walking to the crime scene. I'm like, she's gonna fall, it's gonna be terrible, right? And
Michaela
she
could
is
never
just
live north of the
could never.
Mason-Dixon, I guess.
It would be real bad, but she's just like this solidly built character in that she knows who she is. She and her husband have this really beautiful relationship. He like wakes up in the middle of the night with her and makes her eggs because she needs a good breakfast. I love this guy, this actor. They play with each other against each other so well. He's like the nicest looking, like a dad character, right? He's
Yeah.
like an artist. He's painting ducks and all sorts of like wildlife, and there's a competition that he's going in, and she's super supportive, and they're having all this conversation before she's got to go and find these three bodies. But she's real smart because she looks at what she sees, and she's able to pretty concisely explain like what her theory of events is. And
Mhm.
it's interesting because the person that she's with, like her assistant or one of the other like junior detectives, he doesn't have a clue. Like
Yeah.
we would think in the Midwest, these folks would be completely out of their depth when something this terrible happens, right? But not
Right.
not not for Margie. Margie's on it. And I really love that kind of starkness because
Mhm.
you've got William H. Macy, who's a blundering idiot who just continues to make bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And then you got Margie, who also looks like, Midwest nice, but she is brilliant and
Yeah.
she knows how to find the things that she wants to find out in that space.
Yeah, she's got a peg pretty much from the start, right? And she realizes that the license plate is a dealer's license plate, so she knows that there's probably only a few of those where that possibly could have come from. So she goes, of course, and talks then to Jerry. And is like, I found this car has dealer license plate. You guys missing any cars? And, Jerry, as clumsily as possible, assures her that she is not. And I like the dichotomy there because you have Jerry who's bumbling at every turn and Marge sitting across from him like completely has him like nailed to the wall and knows it, but they're both big, so like you said, like Minnesotan nice throughout this whole thing to one another as they're going, and more and more things start to get uncovered, right? So Marge goes to the city, there she runs in, or she meets up with an old friend or an old boyfriend or something, which is kind of this awkward thing too. But she's on the case, right? She goes to that bar. She talks to the prostitutes that were there. There was something strange about him. What was it? He wasn't circumcised. Okay, so that was pretty funny. There, so that's good. That's good. But she's learning a little bit more about this. She knows that the cars are coming from there. She knows that there's like an ex felon or something that's working at the dealership. So she's pressing in for information, which sends Jerry through the roof, like trying to freak out. And then I love she goes back and talks to him again. He's like, "I'll go check," and then he just like runs out the door and like speeds away. And Marge just sits there, just like, okay.
Yeah, it's again like this Jerry character, you cannot figure him out because he just has no plan. He has no plan. And, he tells his father-in-law that, his wife's been kidnapped. And he's like, no, we can't go to the cops. But I need, $1 million. He was trying to buy this piece of land for like 750, and now he wants $1 million. The dad gets it in cash. I don't know how you do that without like ticking off a couple of boxes. Like I feel like a bank would be like, you need that in cash? What's going on with that? Because they don't generally have that. Anyway, but all that being said, the dad, he's not going to take any crap from this kid, this William H. Macy, right? He's like, he obviously doesn't like him, doesn't trust him. He's gonna go and he's gonna
He's like,
find
it's my
where his
money.
daughter is. It's
I'll
my
go
money.
deal
It's
with
my
it.
daughter. I'm going.
You're too incompetent to deal with this on a side
I mean,
note.
he's not wrong. Not wrong. But this is where it gets really bad because, Carl is there. He's left Greer, and the the poor Minnesotan lady. And they're having this dueling battle, this gunfight on top of this parking lot, right? And it's terrible. He takes the money, he shoots the father-in-law, and then he comes down and he's been like grazed on his face, so there's blood everywhere. Really amazing car, the Cutlass. I just want to talk about, shout out to Oldsmobile because I hadn't seen one of those in a really long time. But anyways, he's going down. He ends up shooting and killing the poor garage door guy. I mean, it just, again, so now we've got like 5 people dead.
That guy had it coming though. That guy had it coming. The garage. That's the best scene in the whole movie. Because Carl drives into the parking garage because he's looking for a car. It's not there, so he drives out. The guy's like, "Oh, you came? Yeah, it's a $4 minimum." So, makes him pay the $4, and Carl's just like outraged at this point. But yeah, he leaves. That guy bites it as well. And then he looks, right. He looks in the briefcase, and the briefcase was supposed to have $80,000 in it, right? And the briefcase does not. The briefcase has $1 million in it, which is a lot more than $80,000. So wheels start turning. He says, "I'm going to bury this in the snow." Terrible idea. The whole freaking first half of the movie was all white. You couldn't tell anything from anything, but he decides he's going to bury it in the snow with a little snow brush, snow scraper. Michaela probably didn't know what that was, being from Texas. She probably never seen one before. So buries it in the snow. It takes the $80,000, and he takes it back to Garrett. And he's like, we got our money." And then he looks over and he's like, "What happened to his wife?" Garrett's
And
like,
I'm really glad they don't.
annoying.
She was being really loud, so I killed her. Like, I'm really glad we don't see that because as I'm watching this for the first
That
time
might
in
have been
30
a
years,
bridge too far, even for
it
the Coen
probably
brothers.
it probably would have been because William Jerry's character played by William H. Macy, he's told his son, and so the son went from being like super crappy to his mom to like crying and being like, "We need to call the police, Dad, and this is terrible." And
Mhm.
and Jerry's like, she's going to be fine. Like, he's not phased at all because he thinks that this is all going to be fine. It's all going to
Right.
be fine. She's not going to have a hair. Like, I mean, even after going into the house and seeing the chaos that has ensued, because there's shit all over the place. Like, there's ripped up stuff in the bathroom. There's uh, pieces of dishes and stuff all over the floor when he walks inside. And yet he's like, she's fine. It'll be
He's
fine.
fine.
Um, yeah, but it goes from bad to worse because they decide they're in this cabin on this lake, and of course they talk about this to someone who hears it from someone who hears it from someone, and then somebody decides to call it in because and talk to the police about it. So Frances McDormand's character Margie, she's just riding around this lake thinking that she's going to see this Cutlass Sierra.
Hmm.
Because that's the vehicle that she's put two and two together and figure out where it's at. And so she sees it and she goes in. And the scene that she walks in on is just, yeah, it's just amazing. It's just amazing because again, Carl and Greer, they have an argument because about the Cutlass car, which doesn't make any sense. They both have a vehicle. Like they should just go. They've killed five people.
They have their $80,000. They have, and then yeah, they get in a fight over this car that's worth like I don't know, like $500. So,
Right, right at True Coat though, that True
maybe as
Coat.
a true coat. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's another, oh my gosh, the used car salesman crap. I love it so much. But they get in this argument and you don't really know what happens to them. It's not good. Like he decides, Carl's like, I'm done, I'm leaving, and he decides to go. And then all you see is Greer like following him. And at first you think it's a shovel. And then you realize he's got an axe in his hand, and that's it. You don't really see much else. And
That's
that's
it.
probably really good because
That's
the next
probably
time
good.
we see Carl, we just see his foot standing out, like sticking out of a wood chipper. And there's
Yeah.
just blood all over the snow.
Yeah. I really love the shot construction of when Marge like walk around the back of the house because she sees it from a distance, so it shows it from a distance. You see just this very small little person next to a very small little wood chipper, and then just like the whole like rest of the screen is just like this blood-soaked snow, right? You don't really see him like anything going through it. It's kind of like sputtering out and stuff like that. So it's like it's gratuitous in what it is, but it's not like gratuitous in what they show, and I really like that. But then you do see Gary's like trying to he has like a stick. He's like trying to get it down through there. Marge, kind of turns up and realizes what's happening. Gary then makes a run for it, but Marge is a good shot. Hits him in the leg and is going to take him in, but she gets another tip off on the way, and that is where to find one Jerry Lundegaard.
Oh, Jerry. Again, this guy's a bumbling idiot and a sociopath. So rather than like, he just runs, but then he goes into a motel and just decides to sleep there. So they they get to him and he's undressed. So I don't know if he was resting. Like, I didn't know if he was sleeping there for the night. I just don't understand the thought process, which is why it's so good.
Yeah,
Because Jerry's a character I still could not figure out. He
I
had
think
no
it's
idea.
I think it's meant to represent that he's like shedding his old self because we'll see him like at the beginning of the movie and he's wearing like that like brown like parka
Mm,
and he
mm,
he wears that and even wears that through like the entire like first scene. Like he gets home and they're having dinner and he doesn't take it off. He doesn't take that
mm.
off until later in the film. So I think it's just like meant to be like him like taking like the layers of his like personality off.
Yeah. Well, his new lair is going to be at the state penitentiary, probably for the rest of his life, because they got him.
Hopefully for a while.
Um,
Yeah.
and I do kind of love the way that you talk about scene construction, the way that they show that piece, because he really loses it. He really just starts to scream and screech as they're like putting the handcuffs on him, because I think it is only then that it's dawned on him that something absolutely terrible has happened and he did it and now he's going to have to pay for it. He doesn't
Right.
know that his father-in-law, well, no, he knows his father-in-law's dead because he went up to
Yeah, it goes by
to
it.
see
Yeah.
it,
He
right?
drives by it.
So
Yeah.
he knows that the guy's got all the money. He doesn't have any idea if his wife is alive. He is no, right?
Hmm.
And yet all of this stuff starts to really crumble around him. And Marge, Marge is so calm when she's got that scary Gar in her backseat. And she's just like, you did this for money. This is so silly. This is so silly. and and I just love it. She's so like again, so solidly built.
Hmm.
And it's almost off-putting and funny because she's so nice about it. Like she doesn't cry. She's not that she doesn't even seem shocked. Like
Right,
it's
yeah. Well, I mean, she's very disarming, which is, a good skill to have as a police officer, I would think. So, but yeah, I mean, she's great. She doesn't ever seem to get like flustered. She doesn't ever seem to be like overly like hurried or concerned about anything, which is, partially I think meant to like reflect like the demeanor of people who live like out in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota. But yeah, I think also then to play off just like the I don't know, not impulsiveness, but just like the floundering like nature that we're seeing in Jerry's character, right? Is kind of these two chess pieces. So yeah, it comes together right then, and then all's well that ends well. It ends up with her getting back into bed with her husband. Shout out to John Carroll Lynch, who you've seen in 10,000 Things, who's had like an amazing career. Should be more well known than he is, I think, because he's always amazing in all the things that he does. And yeah, there you go. That's
there you
Fargo.
go.
It's
And
terrible. Don't make plans to kidnap people that you love.
don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, don't I don't know. Yeah, the juxtaposition of like these terrible things happening and then her literally crawling into this cocoon of a bed. It looks super cozy.
Mhm.
And, he tells her that his painting was selected for the 3 cent stamp, and he's kind of disappointed because there's this other, he talks about this at the beginning, there's this other artist that does like this blue feathered mallard thing that is supposed to be really pretty, and he's worried that that's going to get more attention, and it does get the 29 cent stamp or something like that. But Margie, she's so supportive. Like they're both so supportive of each other. She's like, it's fine, everybody, when they change that out, people are going to need the 3 cent stamp and they're going to
Mhm.
see it. And you're amazing. And it's so like cute. And it's so inside this terrible like caper of like blood and betrayal and like just bad decision making. There's also this like super like solid like sweet like love story thing that happens at the end.
Mhm.
It's really strange, and I think that speaks to like the Coen Brothers signature, right? If you've seen Blood Simple, if you've seen Miller's Crossing, like there's all these different kind of pockets of what is happening in the Coen Brothers
Mhm.
films, and it's to pick it apart. I feel like I certainly feel like I've not been able to do it justice because there's a lot of things in this film that you know were pretty like staggeringly good. But it's hard to articulate.
Yeah, I think especially, talking about this being, 30 years old and, at the time, like the writing like this and the direction like this, the star-studded cast like this, I think was probably like a fairly like new thing or something that that
Mm,
wasn't prevalent. Now we'll see things that are quirky and weird and have a star-studded lineup like that's just like a normal thing, but they were
mm,
much fewer and farther between in 1996. So I think it probably resonated to that end. You know, dark darker comedies have like the ability to either like hit and like super resonate with people and become like these like cult followed movies or just
mm.
completely miss, and this one certainly hit, and kind of built a career here for the Coen brothers, who went on to have a great career onto their like own like separate careers, still doing things together, all that stuff, which was really great. And then very randomly, Fargo turns itself into a TV series. Apparently they filmed like a sequel kind of thing, like a little like sequel show to it, like right around the time that they finished filming the movie, that like never came to light, but they ended up making uh the series for FX Network. And the first series season came out in 2014, and the second season came out in 2015. There have been 5 of these now altogether. I've watched the first 2. They're incredibly good. I like them a lot. I might even like them almost better than the movie, um, to in a lot of senses. I kind of fell off of it. I was in the middle of the move when season 3 started, and then I just kind of forgot about it there over the course of the year. But yeah, the first 2 seasons of it are incredibly good. So search those out if you are into some really good prestige TV. I think it's won like The series itself, I think, has won like 55 or 51. Um, whatever those are called that they win the
Emmys,
things
Grammys,
the Emmys, yeah,
Emmys.
Grammys. I think I won 51
It's music.
Grammys for being the best music. No, Emmys 51. It's 226 nominations. So go
Holy
check out
moly.
Fargo TV series. They're fun, and it's kind of like it's one of those things where they have like a celebrity cast. It's a different story each season and stuff like that. So kind of an
That's
anthology
pretty
kind of a
cool.
thing. So check that out. So I don't know, any parting thoughts here for the Coen Brothers masterpiece that is Fargo.
I'm really glad that I saw it again. I mean, I think that it was cool seeing it 30 years ago. I think for anybody that really
Yeah.
liked it, it's about
Yeah, I'd
time
probably
to
not watched
revisit
it for
it.
like 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's really neat. And Um, I'm so glad that it got this weird cult following. I mean, I was in high school when it came out. And I remember there was like wood chipper jokes and like kind of funny looking. Like that was a thing. Like it amongst the hallways of my high school.
Hmm.
And that's kind of neat. It's worth seeing again if you've not seen it. If you've not seen it, we spoiled everything. Sorry, not sorry. We did warn you twice.
Oh, we didn't do it any
Um,
kind of justice though. So go ahead and watch it.
yeah, just watch it because it's. I guarantee that the film is better than this episode of the podcast. Unfortunately, for no, I don't know that's I don't have. Don't you know? I don't have many more thoughts on it. I go see it if you've not seen it in a while. It's worth revisiting. I forgot how powerful the Jerry versus Margie characters were, and
Hmm.
I enjoyed that a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely search it out. It's pretty easy to find to stream out there. It's pretty short. It's shy of like 100 minutes, I think, almost. So like just a little over an hour and a half. And on one hand, they pack a lot of stuff in there, but also like it doesn't feel like very crowded. Like it actually feels
Mm,
like kind of a slow burn for as short of a
mm.
movie as it is in a lot of ways. The writing's great, the acting is great. So yeah, definitely check out Fargo. And definitely check out all the places where you can let us know what kind of Fargo memories you have. You can do that on our social medias. That's at Drink the Movies on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Facebook.com/Drink the Movies. If you want to see pictures of the wood chipper that we made, cocktail recipes, links to all of our stuff that can be found on our website. It's www.drinkthemovies.com. One of the links you'll find there is to our Patreon. Over on Patreon, we do bonus episodes, we do hangouts, we do behind the scenes stuff, cocktail chats, all sorts of stuff. That is patreon.com/drinkthemovies, and we appreciate our patrons so much. Michaela, we're about ready to go on a bender of brand new movies, not movies that are 30 years old, movies that are days old at the time we talk about them. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting out to the movie theater a bunch of times here over the summer. People are going to want to follow along and see what we got going on. Where can they do that?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, anywhere where Spotify podcasts are supported and distributed. We do 2 drops a week here at Drink the Movies. We have our lobby bar where we talk about all things box office that's coming out, and then our deep dives, like the one you just heard for Fargo. If you would like, we would love it if you would leave reviews anywhere where you have a rectangle. There's a subscribe button. You can press that button. But there's also like review buttons. And if you like what you're hearing, it'd be really cool if you dropped a review because it really helps us get all the Drink the Movie stuff out there. And as always, for anybody who is even remotely interested in video games, you really need to go check out Drink the Video Games because it's amazing. Brian does an amazing job with it. We always have a cocktail, so that's fun too. But go check that out because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that plug. I do appreciate that. And that is going to wrap it up here for Fargo. So, yeah, so go ahead, grab your snow shovel, put on your boots, head out there and see Fargo. Celebrate 30 years of that film being in the world. And we'll talk to y'all next time on
Drink
Drink
the
the
Movies.
Movies.
Son of a Gunderson.